Hello, I'm Mohsen Jamal and you watch Afghan News. NATO-led foreign forces have stopped handing over prisoners to several Afghan jails ahead of the release of a UN report warning of torture, a move that raises fresh questions about plans to hand security over to Afghan forces. The NATO-led International Security Stance Force declined official comment on prisoner transfer policy, but an official who asked not to be identified said the transfers had stopped a few days ago to at least 8 facilities across the country, including Western Herat, Eastern Khost, and Kapisa in northern Kunduz and Takhat provinces. ISAF spokesman General Carsten Jacobson at a news conference on Wednesday said that they had stopped the transfer of some detainees. The UN report is expected to be released within a few days. Afghanistan's prisons are overcrowded and beset by a range of problems, including inmate violence. Pakistan is the main threat to Afghanistan, and its intelligence service is the biggest danger to the government in Kabul. A U.S. senator recently returned from the region on Tuesday. Republican Senator Mark Kirk just returned from a 2-week stint serving as a U.S. Naval Reserve Intelligence Commander, charged in a speech that the militant Haqqani network is backed and protected by Pakistan's powerful spy agency. Pakistan's inter-services intelligence has long been held to keep contact with militants operating in the wild tribal areas along the Pakistan-Afghanistan border who plague U.S.-led forces fighting the Afghan war. Affiliated with the Taliban, the Haqqani network was founded by Jalaluddin Haqqani and is run by his son Sirajuddin, both of them already designated global terrorists by Washington. Newly retired General David Petraeus was sworn in as CIA director on Tuesday, taking over at a time when the line between the U.S. spy agency and the military has become increasingly blurred in the fight against Islamist militancy. Petraeus, who in a storied 37-year army career rose to become arguably the U.S. military's brightest star, took the oath of office at a White House ceremony led by the U.S. Vice President Joe Biden. President Barack Obama enlisted Petraeus to take over at the CIA as part of a major shuffle of his national security team that included Leon Panetta moving from CIA chief to defense secretary as successor to the retiring Robert Gates. Petraeus is credited with helping to turn around the Iraq War and also set in motion Obama's revamped strategy in Afghanistan, aimed at halting the momentum of the Taliban insurgency and laying the groundwork for a gradual U.S. troop drawdown. At least 20 people have been killed and several wounded in suicide bombings near a government compound in the Pakistani city of Quetta, bordering Afghanistan. Hamish Akil, a senior police official, said on Wednesday that first a car bomb exploded outside the residence of Deputy Inspector General Frontier Corps, then a suicide bomber entered inside the house and blew himself up. One of the suicide bombers blew himself up in a vehicle packed with explosives near the car of Farrukh Shehzad. The DIG of Bulliten Shehzad was wounded and his wife was killed, police said. The other suicide bomber struck inside his house, killing 7 of his guards and brought down the walls of his house and nearby offices. Police said they were investigating whether the strike was revenge for the recent arrest of 3 top al-Qaeda suspects in the city, which were disclosed on Monday. A bomb apparently hidden in a suitcase has exploded outside the High Court in the Indian capital, New Delhi, killing at least 11 people and wounding 47 others, officials said. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but the country's interior minister said the government was not able to immediately identify the attackers. The blast erupted near a large crowd of people waiting in line to reach a reception counter where passes are made for entry to the court building, R.K. Singh, Home Secretary, said. According to local news channels, the blast took place just before the court opened for hearings at about 10 a.m. local time. Meanwhile, Manmohan Singh, the Indian Prime Minister, condemned the attack on Wednesday, calling it a cowardly act of terrorism. China repeated its opposition to the U.S. selling arms to Taiwan on Wednesday, saying any deal puts peaceful Sino-U.S. relationship at risk. The Obama administration is due to make a decision on a weapons deal for the self-ruled island by October 1st. China's foreign ministry spokeswoman Jiang Yu warned that a decision to sell arms to Taiwan could harm cross-strait relations. Taiwan, which China views as a breakaway province, hopes to buy 66 late-model F-16 aircraft from the United States, a sale potentially valued at more than $8 billion and intended to phase out its remaining F-5 fighters. Muammar Gaddafi has probably left the Libyan desert town of Bani Walid and is heading further south with the help of loyalist tribes towards Chad or Niger. A senior military official in Libya's new leadership has said. Hisham Bouhaghir, who is coordinating the National Transitional Council's efforts to find the former Libyan leader, late on Tuesday said reports indicate that he may have been in the region of the southern village of Ghouat, some 950 kilometers south of Tripoli 3 days ago. Gaddafi, who was ousted from power in August after a February uprising against his rule spread to the capital Tripoli, is believed to be traveling in a convoy of some 10 cars and may be using a tent as shelter, Bouhaghir said. Earlier on Tuesday, military sources from France and Niger confirmed that escorts of Libyan army vehicles had recently crossed the desert border with Niger in what may be a bid by Gaddafi to seek refuge in a friendly African state. Meanwhile, U.S. Defense Secretary Leon Panetta said Gaddafi was on the run, but Washington said it had no reason to believe the fugitive leader had left Libya, something his spokesman Musa Ibrahim confirmed. Syrian forces backed by tanks killed at least 3 civilians in a large-scale assault on homes on Wednesday, activists said, in a renewal of raids on Sunni districts in the city where thousands have held pro-democracy protests. A statement by Home City Neighborhoods Union said that most land and cell phone lines and the internet have been cut off, while tanks moved in at dawn and began firing heavy machine guns randomly at houses in Bab Tadmor, Warsaw district and Bab Drive. This comes as a planned Arab League visit to Syria on Wednesday to convey concerns over President Bashar al-Assad's violent crackdown on anti-regime protesters has been delayed. An Arab diplomat who asked not to be identified late on Tuesday said. Elsewhere, Ban Ki-moon, the United Nations Secretary General, on Tuesday condemned the violence, which he said was being committed by President Bashar al-Assad's regime against his people during the 5-month-old uprising. And the devastating wildfire outbreak in Texas has burned down more than 1,000 homes and stretched firefighters to the limit, confronting Rick Perry, the U.S. state's governor, with a disaster at home just as the Republican presidential contest heats up. More than 180 fires have erupted in the past week across the rain-starved state, with nearly 600 of the homes lost in one catastrophic blaze in and around Bastrop near Austin that raged out of control on Tuesday for a third day, whipped into an inferno by winds from tropical storm Lee over the weekend. The blaze burned more than 160 square kilometers, killing at least 2 people and bringing the overall death toll from the outbreak to at least 4. White House spokesman Jay Carney said the administration of President Barack Obama has approved 7 federal grants to Texas to help with the latest outbreak. And that is all for now. Thanks for joining us.